YouTube, it's 2T. It's broken 2T. Revival, Generation X. It broke me. This is going to be a right amalgamation, a bit of pickups. I mean, some really nice pickups, but not a vast amount. Probably turn into more of a shout out. I do have a list. I've attempted the unattemptable and tried to generate a list of them that were there. And yeah, just a general chat about how the day went. Like I say, from the it broke me. I am broken. I have a broken foot or a damaged foot, or we don't know what's wrong with my foot, essentially. I've either got a stress fracture or I've got gout. So no doubt, it'll be gout. I am gout. I am Groot. Them that may have seen me on the Saturday, I was in a lot of pain. I was in a fucking lot of pain. I'll come back to the who, whys and wherefores and, you know, the sort of how things panned out during the day. But first and foremost, I need to thank Craig and Becky for what and the team and the Revival team for an absolutely brilliant event. I did have an inkling it was going to be awesome. I didn't know how awesome it was going to be. Outside of the sort of Expo Sky Skipper reveal, that is the next best one I've been to. Maybe on par with the first Expo where all the YouTubers met up for the first time. But I think as a gathering, that was a wicked turnout. So many thanks to all those guys and girls and people that turned up to the event. It really made it happen. But yeah, I mean, huge thanks to Craig, Becky and the team. Did an outstanding job, bar none. Absolutely brilliant. And I think I'll echo Alex Nintendo Arcade's comment. I don't think it should get any bigger. He'd probably like it smaller. I think as it is, I think that's perfect, because what I found, and I think what a lot of people found, is it was still quite comfortable to get around with the two rooms, because it kind of split people, and then with the you know, the sort of restaurant whatever in the middle, snack bar, I think it broke the flow of people up. Whereas, you know, in some events you've been to, and, you know, them that have been to the expos and that, it can get a bit on top. You feel like you're being pushed along, and whereas this one, the pacing of it was absolutely superb, really good. I had an absolute blast. So yeah, many thanks to the team there. And then the other person, without him, I probably wouldn't have gone, is my mate Rob. Everyone's asking me what's Rob's channel. Rob hasn't got a channel, so put a comment down here and tell him to get a channel on, because I tell you what, you think some people like myself, whatever, get good pickups, this guy's stuff will fucking blow everything out of the water. Unbelievable, the stuff this guy's had and got and whatever. You know, Rob, get making a video. Told you that. So a bit of backstory anyway to the weekend, essentially. Rob and myself, we went down to Friday, as I mentioned in previous videos, kind of giving Craig a bit of a hand, just setting up, you know, moving machines around, etc. Now, I'm not saying that's what's knackered my ankle up and my foot up. I don't think it helped. Also, went down in Rob's car, which is like a little tiny Porsche Boxster, so I was quite cramped up because I had stuff for someone else to take down. That probably didn't help. I'm not saying anything's caused it. Obviously, I've probably got an underlying issue, which is probably gout. But all those factors compounded into, and I say, on the Friday night, late, you know, once we finished setting up, we went back to the bar and consumed quite a lot of alcohol. So obviously that's not good for gout or whatever I've done. It just obviously nulled the pain. But Saturday, fucking hell, it was. I'll come to the story in a bit, but yeah, I had to go back to the hotel at one point just to try and fucking cool it down. Yeah, so the Friday night was, I tell you what, was probably one of the weirder but better Friday nights I've ever had, because we got there, you know, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. A lot of the guys sort of had started setting up, say, help with the machines, putting them in place. Some of them are very deceptive in terms of the weight of them. I mean, track and field that Retro Dave was on, and Cine Steve, which was hilarious. I'll come to that story as well in a bit. That I moved that one, and that must be full of fucking lead. I tell you, because then there's other ones that were like quite light. So yeah, I mean, you don't see the work that goes into it behind the scenes. And trust me, Craig's team fucking graft. They graft bloody hard. So kudos to them guys. Yeah, so we were shifting machines around. I think it got to about 8 o'clock. There wasn't much else left to do. I think the sort of team that were there was sort of doing you know, console systems, computers and stuff like that. I think the majority, if not all of the machines had been in. I think a few of the lads, fair play to them, started helping people like Scottish Alan set up, because I mean that guy had like a fucking looting van full of stuff. So the first, and I need to mention this because I felt really fucking bad, really bad. And you know what, the guy didn't say anything to me all weekend. There was a chap there when I got there, when I spoke to Alex and was chatting to him, and he was there, and I'm sure he's from, is it RDGS podcast? Now, I believe, and I've probably still got this wrong because I wrote it down and I think I wrote it down wrong. Is it Garon? Garon. And for some reason, and I blame Alex for this, I'm sure I heard him call him Craig. So all weekend, I'll put his proper name down here. All weekend I'm calling this guy Craig, and he was acknowledging it. So I'm sure it's Garon. I'm sure it's Garon. Obviously he must be a Welsh chap. That chap, honestly, like most of the guys there, all the helpers, had, you know, really good laugh, really good chat with some of them, but real grafters. Yeah, so on the Friday, say about 7 o'clock-ish, give or take, quite a lot of us headed over to the hotel, and the mayhem ensued somewhat. Garon, not Craig, like I said, very kindly stayed and helped Scottish Alan unload, because obviously that guy's just got like fucking tons of stuff, as he always does. A lot of time for Alan, really nice guy. Yeah, so I say quite a lot of us literally just sort of, you know, we'd done what we needed to do. Headed over to the hotel, which was literally next door, across a car park from the stadium, so ideal, you know, location wise. I think it was like me, Rob, me, Dana, Ant, and a few of the other lads. Yeah, and then, like I say, over the night, more and more people, as they finished doing what they need to do at the event, trickled over. About 7:30, I think, ish, give or take. Jay turned up, Cyber Snake, really, all, I mean, love Jay, like a brother. Honestly, absolutely legend, Jay is. And I'd sort of said to him before, look, you can sleep in our bath, mate. You're more than welcome to. So we didn't have a bath, we had a walk-in shower, but we did have a chair. So Jay the cat, as he was quite fondly called by me, I think he appreciated that. But he just curled up on the chair in our room, so he got a free night's kip anyway, didn't have to pay. And I say, like, people just trickled over. Spencer Guest, who was one of the guys setting up, Alex come over, Dave Perry was there. I've got Dave to show Jay some of the pictures from some of his shoots. Yeah, Dave is a lucky man, Dave is. But lovely, he's a really nice, you know, he's got a lot of, he'll talk to you, and I like that. He's not up his own arse, dead down to earth. Say Alex come over, I think he come over quite late actually, or late-ish, and yeah, he probably had one too many beers, probably regretted sitting chatting to us lot, because I think he consumed a little bit more than he probably wanted to for the next day. But I'll tell you what, it was bloody busy, and a really good vibe about it. Steve Smith was there from Retro, you know, the Retro Games Fair. Always got a lot of time for Steve Smith, lovely guy again. We were putting the wheels to rights around different subjects, but yeah, again, another nice guy. You know, he's always supporting everyone else's event, and I like that. I like that about Steve. Always there to help out. You know, pay it forward, as they say. I think the Americans call it, don't they? But yeah, so the night was just, it was just, you know, a lot of drinking, a lot of handshake, a lot of flesh pressing, etc., and just giggles and laughs. It was just that sort of that environment is really good. Saturday morning, we get up bright and breezy, head on over, and obviously see the event in all its glory. I did do some video footage at that point of going in. Didn't film anything else at all for the rest of the weekend. I'll tell you that now, guys, because I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. And it's not only that I was talking to that many people, but not for very long. So I didn't really feel like I spent any great deal of time with anybody, but I spent a lot of time with a lot of people. So I split the time across quite a lot of different people, which, you know, I felt, did I feel obliged to? No, I felt like I should should have, because I was championing this, and I thought, you know, if I don't make the effort and go and speak to people and say hello at least and stuff, then I'm not going to look like a right one, am I? You know, and that's what I did. And hopefully, like I say, I've got a little list here. I don't think I've missed anybody. I've seen plenty of videos of different people talking about the stalls, showing the stalls and stuff, so I don't need to go over too much of that anyway. There's plenty of footage out there. I mean, there's no point in me videoing all the same stuff as they've done. I would have liked to have got a few more. I should have got more pictures of people. But again, if you watch other people's videos, they'll say the same. It was a weird event for that, because I think there was that much going on. Whereas at other like expos, you'd sort of look round, you do your thing, and then you'd all just sit down and chill out, and then you could do all that. But this one, there was always something going on. There's always someone else to go and look at, or someone else to go and chat to. It was really strange. I think probably because it didn't have a communal area. I mean, it had the snack bar area, but it didn't have like a bar area. And I think that's probably the only difference with this and some of the expos. So what you found is people didn't tend to congregate. You couldn't really congregate around a bar because there was no seats. It was just standing only, and you'd end up just clogging the bar up. So, and I think if there was one thing I'd probably improve on, it would probably be something like that. Where that would be, I don't know. I don't know if they could fit that in. I mean, the weather was absolutely gorgeous. Gus Newton made a good comment. It would have been nice to have it, again, probably very similar to what I've just suggested, but he was talking about going outside. Just an area where you can sit down and chill with your beer, you know, and chat with your mates at lunchtime. So that's, yeah, that was probably the only thing that you could probably improve upon. But yeah, so I was trying to bounce around everybody and anybody. There's people there that I want to spend more time with, like I always want to do. And there's probably people that spent very little to no time other than saying hello and goodbye, and that was it. I say, I've got a list. I hope it's relatively accurate. What I'm going to do, if these guys have got channels, I'm going to link them down below, because hopefully they'll make videos. Some of these people already have made videos. And if they haven't, you can go over there and you can annoy them and tell them to make a video. Before we get onto the list, I'll say it will probably just end up being a shout-out video. I'll probably do some of the raw footage. I might just upload it. I haven't even looked at it. I'll have a look, and if it's any good, I'll just chuck it up on its own so people can just review it at their leisure. So it's probably no different to what most people have already uploaded anyway, so you're not going to see it. We see anything different. It'll be less busy, so you'll probably see it. You know, you'll probably see more in terms of the stalls and stuff than you would do in probably some of the people's videos, maybe. And see stuff that you didn't get a chance to buy because it probably already sold by then. Yeah, so it probably won't be very good for people that were out looking for bargains. I say I've got a list of people. I will come to them and say I'll do my damnedest. And if I have forgot anybody, I will add them at the end. I say, and link any channels or anything like that, or like, you know, say thanks and stuff. So what did I get in terms of you know, some of the pickups? I got some nice bits. Let's put it that way. From one stall. One stall is all you need. It's like the car boot, like I was saying to Old School Variety Face. You know, Ryan, my mate, and me, and Ryan's got a saying, and it's very true. You only need one car to make the car boot. You only need one stall sometimes at an event, like in Leeds. There's always that couple, and everyone knows who they are. Man, they make the event. That's it. You only need them to turn up with some half decent stuff, and the rest of it doesn't matter. From Rich. So everyone's calling him Retro Derb. So Rich has got a channel, and I'll link Rich's channel down below. He hasn't made YouTube videos for years now, and he's still got a massive subscriber base. But his name's Retroactive Gaming. I call him Retroactive Rich anyway. His name's Rich, lovely guy. I say he's local to me. I used to see him at the car boots. Don't see him now. Obviously, he doesn't need to do car boots anymore. But them's up there, you know who he was. Everyone's got a bargain off of him. Lovely guy, really nice guy. I always pop over to see him. I think I got some of these last year from him as well. I got a load of NES sleeves. You can never have enough NES sleeves, and you know, it's £1 each. There's 6 there, and he did them for a £5. There's a few, you know, proper OG Nintendo ones. Quite a lot of OG Nintendo ones, and you know, so yeah, £5. Never have enough dust sleeves. I'll tell you that much now. From my mate Shock 16 Adam. how did this come about? He was messaging me. Oh no, I seen a comment on one of the Facebook groups. He was after some magazines, and he sort of said he only needed X, Y, and Z or something like that. I said, oh, I've got some of them. He's like, oh really? Have you got this one? I said, no, I'd had these magazines. I'm pointing at because that's where they are. Since I got that massive Saturn bundle years and years ago now, and I never really thought much to them. I just kept them, just stashed them out the way. I said I'll have a look, because if I had the one he wanted, I would have obviously let him have it. It didn't. I had all the latter ones. So I said, oh sorry mate, I've got from like 20 onwards or something like that. And it got to sort of, I think, the night before, the Thursday night, maybe the Friday. I think it might be the Friday. And he sort of said, oh look, I've got some doubles, because obviously he's had to buy a bulk to get the ones he wanted. Would you be interested? So I was and a little bit, because I was thinking just about the funds. It's not a lot of money at all. It's not a lot. Adam did me an absolute fucking great deal. But I was just more thinking in the case of, in terms of, am I going to go for them all? And then when I looked at how many there were, I thought, actually, I'm not even that far off. So I thought, you know what? With what Adam's got here, and I'm going to get some more of him. I thought, fuck it, yeah, let's just do it. Let's do it. Do it now. So off of Adam is a load of fish, Sega Saturn magazines. I need to thank Daz, Cones de Loro, because he had these in his boot, and we nearly had, what event was that, Daz? Blackpool, wasn't it, where he had a SNES game rattling around in his boot that was mine for like about 9 months. And we jokingly sort of said, oh, we don't want to repeat that. So Daz very kindly left these on reception for me. But yeah, there were a handful of official Sega Saturn magazines. We have got, I'm not going to go over to it, number 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 and 8 off the shocks. He's got a lot more, so I'm going to grab a load more off of him, and I think ends up being, after them, I'm probably like about 12 away from the whole lot. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Winner, chicken dinner. I think there's only 37. It's like Super Play, isn't it? Like 37, 38 of them, I think. So yeah, that'd be good. It'd be nice, especially with the full set. And I think that's what Adam's done. Is he's looked at it and gone, well, I've got a full Saturn set. I should have the full official magazine. I think number 1's quite hard to get for that, which is odd, because it tends to be the later ones in terms of magazines that are harder to source. But he was, I'm sure at one point he was just the first one he needed. Massive thanks to Adam, and huge thanks to Daz, me other brother, Cones de Loro, for sorting that out. Again, I didn't really speak to, I don't know, maybe I did, but I felt like I didn't speak enough to Daz. There's loads of people I didn't spend enough time with. And when you look back at it, you think, oh, fucking hell. And I spent a lot of time with the people that I hadn't really beforehand. So, there's not, like Big Mike says, Big Mike Houlihan, about Verbally Retro, there was, and Old School, there's just not enough time. There really isn't enough time. So, a little bit of a backstory to this game. This is off, honestly, we'll all say this, oh, they're all top lads, oh, lovely guys, this, that and the other. But he's a genuinely nice guy. I think he really only started doing videos perhaps off the back of Alex. Obviously he knows Alex from UK VAC, but YouTube wise, I don't know, maybe he had done, I don't know. I found him from Alex, got chatting to him, and it's like any of these genuine people, you just feel like you know them. You don't need to have known them or met them multiple times. I mean, I've only met this chap twice. Yeah, twice. The first time was Arcade Club and I was pissed as a fart. But it's just, you just meet up and it's just like old school mates. Everyone will say it, everyone will tell you that. And I'll tell you what, as long as you're not socially inept, that's exactly how it feels. It's silly Steve. So Steve contacted me and said, look, Toots. It was because we toots, because he's from down south, toots, do me a favour, mate, do me a favour. I'm not going to divulge the details, but let's just say Steve, he's got an eye for a bargain, and he knows his shit, he knows his Amiga shit and stuff, and he got an absolute fucking stonking bargain from a guy, not, from my old city. But what I said to him, I said, look, get him to deliver it to me, pay him a tenner fuel, and I'll bring it to Revival. Because Steve, I think they'd messed up the dates. I think Steve got his dates mixed up in terms of when Revival was. I said, look, you can drop it off here, it's not a problem. And it was a hefty haul. So I'm thinking, yeah, Rob's going to come in his Jeep, and then Rob turns up in his little sports Boxster. Hence why at the start of the video I said I was quite cramped. We managed to get it all in it. It was, Tetris served me well. Tetris has served me well over the years in terms of packing and stuff like that. So we got it all in, and as a thank you, Steve has given me this game, and he didn't have to at all. He said I'll do, look after anybody. Off the silly Steve, he just sort of said the front's a bit sun faded. I can replace the front. Yeah, it's Bart versus Space Mutants. I mean, I remember this coming out in the NES, and it was all, because Simpsons was a thing. What a disappointment of a game. It's such a shame, because I think all the hype, it's all complete. Probably needs a manual. I mean, like I say, all that. I ain't gonna fucking moan. Steve, man, you're absolute legend. You did not need to do that, brother. A pint would have sufficed. But yeah, I think Virtual Bart's not a bad one. I know that on the NES, Bart versus Toxic Avenger is a good one. I've got that. I think that's American only. That's not a bad game. But yeah, that was a bit of and even on the Amiga, and it come out on all of them, didn't it? It was like, man, this is a bit of a shit. And especially when you played the arcade game, it's not Simpsons. Nah. And they never brought the Simpsons out, have they? At least with the Turtles, they actually brought out Turtles the arcade game. They never brought out Simpsons the arcade game on the home machines, which I think was a real shame. Early doors, when I sort of got in there looking around, and you had all the great stalls there, all the guys. I mean, Alex, Rob, and me we had a mooch around on the Friday evening, and I'd seen some great items. Big Mike grabbed one, Prince of Persia on the SNES. Scott, Sega Zombie, got one, the baseball game. I'd seen that on the Friday. Funds weren't great at this point, hence why even with the shock thing I was kind of thinking I've got to be careful, because you can just go nuts. You can go nuts, and don't forget, this is last Friday, I hadn't spent a penny yet, so I've got the Friday night, all day Saturday and the Saturday night, and maybe a little bit the Sunday. So I don't want to like fucking blow my load and not have anything at all. So that's why I was a bit cautious. There's a few things I wish I'd bought. I definitely wish I'd bought that 2020 baseball. It's a great buy from Scott. But yeah, I'd seen them all there, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. But these bits I've got here, this lady didn't turn up until Saturday morning. So there's a few people didn't set up till Saturday morning. Just setting up, and I walked up to this table. I think Rob had been there like literally a few minutes before me, because he said, oh, I was going to come and find you. And as I turned around, you were already at a table, because he'd seen these things were on there. And so she had a handful of games. I told a few people this story, because they all asked me, what did you get, Stu? What did you get, Stu? And I say, other than them other bits, these are the only things I bought. And it's enough to buy anyway. It was enough for me. I'd say it made the fucking event in terms of like pickups. So, I say she was setting up these odds and sod things. And she had a handful of games. A few PC games. I think these might have been the only console things. I can't remember. And I picked one up that I definitely didn't have. So the first one I picked up I didn't have, which is this game here. And I said to her, I've had to swap the cases. The case was smashed. Like they were smashed. This one still needs a bit of an upgrade, but I can live with this one for the minute. So I picked this up. I said, how much is this? She went, oh, let me go and check. And I thought, oh God. And she went over to her bag, got her phone out. I thought, oh God, she's going to Google it, And she went, 40 quid. And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, there's no way she's Googled it that quick. And I was like, oh, how much is this one? And she, no. Tell a lie. I said, how much is that? She said, 40 quid. I said, right, I'll have that. And there's this on the table. And I opened it up. She said, oh, it's just a box with the tray. There's no manual. I said, how much is that? She went, oh, you can have it for a £5. So she didn't even, like, check this one. And that is a box, Legend of Mystical Ninja. And I tell you what, there's a little bit of squishing just there, but there's no manual. It is manual-less. It has got the precautions leaflet though. Tray's nice. So for a £5, I got to take them, and then obviously you've seen the Terminator. So Terminator was then. I said, oh, out of interest, how much is that one? How much is the Terminator? 45. She goes, I'll let you have all three for 80 quid. So that's complete. So I've had to swap I've had to do a, you know, Ali Jones's greatest fucking Christmas Carol hits. That's complete. Discs are all right. There's a few little, you know, your usual minor sort of scuffs. They're not perfect. And yes, the inserts are all legit. They've got the sort of perforated edges and stuff like that. So yeah, 80 quid. So then in the know, I mean, that's easily 100 quid. Some people are asking daft money. I think even if I was conservative and I sort of said 120, I think I'd probably sell it. I could, yeah, see. The idea being is, I was just going to want to get my money back for these two, which is 80 quid, which I could easily do. There's no doubt about it. I could make a little bit, you know, but I say it was just like, okay, so don't make no bones about it, right? If the traders had been walking around in the teenies, they would have snapped them up and stuck them on the stall. But yeah, the cases were smashed. All this was all smashed to smithereens. I just needed new cases. So the real only thing I bought from the event, and probably, you know, well happy with that, the best thing, I've got the game for that. I need to try and get a manual. Manuals are quite hard to come by for these. I don't think I've got one in my spares. I'll have to have a look. I don't recall ever having Legend of Mystical Ninja manual. CEX for a box copy is 70 odd, 80 quid. I think a mint one's like 120 or something daft. It gives you a real idea of how expensive that's got. And that's not a bad box. You know, it's not perfect, but that is an honest box. The only thing let it down is that bump there, but for that price I can live with that, man. That is not a problem at all. So yeah, the day wore on. Yeah, I'll say I was up until sort of just after lunchtime. I weren't in the best mindset. I think that's probably the right word. I was doing my best, and I say went back to the hotel to help get the stuff for Steve. I thought, no, come on, Stu, you've got to fucking pull yourself together. I had no painkillers or nothing because I didn't really know what I'd done. I mean, I'd had problems with my foot before, but it kind of comes and it goes, but it just seemed to be there, and I did think maybe I'd overdone it, lugging the machines around. You know, I don't know, I was kind of second guessing everything. But I thought, no, fuck it, let's get on the pop, let's get on the ale, let's enjoy it with the lads. So say I went back in. I don't really know in which order I was speaking to who it was. But anyone I mention or talk about, I'd say I'll put all the links to any of their channels down below.